Today, I am going to give a review about a TEDx talk whose topic is Stop Teaching, Start Learning. So, stay with us for a very knowledgeable review of this video. Welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into today's topic, I want you to close your eyes for a moment and travel back in time. Think about the day you learned to walk, or that magical period when you, a teeny toddler, mastered your entire native language without ever opening a textbook or attending a single grammar lecture. It was effortless, it was joyful, it was natural. But then something happened. We were sent to school, and suddenly that spark of curiosity was replaced by the heavy burden of a syllabus. Today, we are analyzing a video that does not just critique our education system, it demands a revolution. We are looking at Professor Maryam Jawaharlal's legendary TED Talk, Stop Teaching, Start Learning. If you are a student feeling burned out, a parent worried about your child's future, or a teacher looking for inspiration, this review is for you. The video opened with very relatable, almost painful truth about Asian and South Asian households. Many friends talk about the immense pressure parents place on education. In his world, growing up, there were only three paths presented by society: become a doctor, become an engineer, become a failure. There was no fourth option. He humorously notes that he chose engineering only because the sight of blood made him faint. So medicine was out, and nobody chooses to be failure. But beneath the humor lies a tragic reality. We decide what a child should be when they are only 10 years old. We put blinkers on them like horses and force them down a narrow path. We must ask ourselves, are we helping our children find their passion, or are we just helping them avoid the failure label? Now, let's get into the core philosophy of the talk: the difference between teaching and learning. Maryam argues that teaching is centered on the teacher. It's about PowerPoint slides, finishing the chapter, and meeting administrative deadlines. Learning, however, is centered on the student. It is an inherently satisfying activity. Think about it. Why do we enjoy hobbies? Why will someone spend hours fixing a car, a painting, car, or a painting canvas for free, while they can't spend 30 minutes on a textbook? Because hobbies involve engagement and learning, while school often involves passive receiving. He gives the brilliant examples of walking. Children learn to walk in the absence of teaching. They fall, they bruise, they try again, they succeed. But the moment we start teaching them language in school, their proficiency often drops. Why? Because the joy is sucked out of the process. One of the most striking moments in the video is when Marifon shows a painting from the 14th century. It depicts a classroom in Germany. You see the professor on a high podium, reading from a book in the rows below. Some students are listening, some are whispering in classic, even then, some are fast asleep. He then compares this to a modern classroom. What has changed? We have replaced the scrolls with iPads and the podium with a digital projector, but the sage on stage model remains. We are still front loading student with information they did not ask for and don't know how to use information. Overload is not knowledge, it's a system shutdown. This is why students Facebook or text during class. They are not being engaged, they are being lectured at. So, how do we fix this? Maryam offers a beautiful solution storytelling. He challenges the idea that subjects like engineering or math are dry. He claims that every equation, even the most complex calculus formula, has a human story behind it. There is drama, there is rivalry, there is the struggle of the scientist trying to solve a real world problem. He shares a moving personal story about his daughter and the founder of Intel, Andy Grove, by telling her a story about Grove swimming across the Danube River to escape a cop. He did not just teach her history or tech, he gave her an emotional anchor. 15 years later, she still remembers that story. If we want students to learn, we have to stop giving them data and start giving them context. We have to fuel the fire of inspiration rather than just filling a bucket with facts. The second solution be purposes is simplicity. He references the great physics Richard Feynman, who famously said that if you cannot explain a concept to a 5 years old, you don't actually understand it yourself. This is powerful critique of academia. Many educators hide behind uh, jargon and complex equations to mask a lack of deep understanding. Mariafun tells his student, if your professor can't explain it simply, they probably don't know what they are talking about. As a reviewer, I find this incredibly liberating. Real intelligence is not making simple things sound difficult, it's making difficult things look simple. This is the hallmark of a true educator. Let's look at the strength and weaknesses of this talk. The strength is undoubtedly its heart. Maria Phone speaks with the authority of an insider, an engineering professor who has seen the studying. If there is a weakness, it might be that the talk does not provide a logistical roadmap for how to change a global standardized testing based economy overnight. However, that was not his goal. His goal was to change the mindset of the person standing at the front of the room. We need to move away from being teachers and become facilitator of learning. We need to stop the doctor engineer failure madness and let children fall and get up on their own, just like they did when they learned to walk. What about you? Have you ever had a teacher who made you fall in love with a subject through stories? Or do you feel like the current system in holding you back? Let's start a conversation in the comments below. If you found this review helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into educational content, and share this with an educator or a parent who needs to hear this. Thank you very much for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.